Miller, famous actor, could be facing 26 years in prison now. I told you in a previous episode this was going to happen. I said it. Let's put his picture full mass. I will give you the background now. In an update, after much delay, it finally looks like actor Ezra Miller will face legal consequences for actions and antics over the years. Once again, I said it right here on Indisputable, he's going to end up in prison or something worse. Ezra Miller pleaded not guilty to burglary charges in a Vermont court Monday morning. Miller, who's charged with burglary into an occupied home and larceny, faces up to 26 years in prison if convicted on both charges. These are serious charges. Miller appeared in Bennington Superior Court virtually with their lawyer. The actor is accused of breaking into a residence at Stamford, Vermont on May 1st. After investigating at that time, Vermont State Police had discovered several missing bottles of alcohol from the property while homeowners were not present. After collecting statements and reviewing surveillance footage, police charged Miller with a felony. All right, this was very expensive stuff. The larceny charge states that the stolen items were less than $900 in total value. The felony burglary, however, was a maximum of 25 years in prison and a $1,000 minimum fine. The larceny charge is a maximum of 1 year and a similar $1,000 fine. Miller also agreed not to have any contact with the homeowner or return to the residence. So that's how they dealt with it, right? So background on the other incidents. And yes, these other incidents may play into what happens here if you can establish what's called criminal pattern. The Vermont charges were just a couple of controversies and legal issues facing Miller in recent months. The actor was arrested in Hawaii twice within a month's time. First for disorderly conduct and harassment, and then for a second-degree assault less than 4 weeks later. They pled no contest to the assault charge and paid a $500 fine and $30 in court costs. The harassment charge was later dismissed. Miller is also accused of choking one woman in an Icelandic bar and harassing another woman in her home in Berlin. All of this is on the record. In August, Miller actually apologized for their past, okay? I say there intentionally, for their past behavior and began undergoing mental health treatment. So let's get into that. Having recently gone through a time of intense crisis, I now understand that I am suffering complex mental health issues and have begun ongoing treatment. Miller said in a statement, I want to apologize to everyone that I have alarmed and upset with my past behavior. I am committed to doing the necessary work to get back to a healthy, safe, and productive stage in my life. Okay, there seems to be an acknowledgement here. I don't know if it's authentic. I cannot make that call. But I do know that transformation without acknowledgement is impossible. You cannot change what you fail to acknowledge. Doesn't work that way. And in order to truly fundamentally transform who you are, you have to transform your experiences, exposures, and environments to maintain it. Because if your 3 E's are the exact same and you commit yourself to transformation, it's going to be much more difficult if you do not commit yourself to changing your experiences, exposures, and environments. Now, let's talk about the protocol of Hollywood. The greatest privilege of all is Hollywood white privilege. So are they now coming out saying, hey, we gotta let Ezra go? Too many issues here, too much criminal conduct has happened. Too much liability to the studio. Insurance rates are gonna go through the roof here if we hire this guy, all right? So Miller's film, The Flash, won't be releasing across theaters until next year, but the script for the sequel film is already written despite numerous controversies involving the main star. According to a report from The Hollywood Reporter, Warner Brothers Discovery is moving forward in several fronts for its A-list characters and is preparing for a potential future beyond that. These plans include a possible return of Henry Cavill's Superman, among other things, but notably also include plans for the Flash's return, the future, despite Ezra Miller's controversies. In fact, according to the report, the script for the sequel has already been written in the cast that the Flash does well when it releases next year. This is about money. They would have to forfeit a lot of production costs and already spent budgets. So yeah, their response, in my opinion, has been wholly inappropriate from day one. As soon as Ezra had a victim, they should have disconnected until further notice. They decided not to. They stuck with Ezra. All right, thoughts on this, Doc?
I actually totally agree with your analysis. I mean, I certainly think that people who have mental health issues need help, and I agree with you that it's important that that kind of acknowledgement, if he wrote it or somebody else wrote it, it's a step Kanye West didn't take, right? Which is, I know I've done wrong here, and I'm going to get help. So I do want to acknowledge, and I think I agree with you on that point. But I would say that it's kind of a philosophical question for all of us, which is what's the line between mental illness as a symptom, as something that deserves sympathy, and mental illness as an excuse that just covers over an excuse for bad behavior. And I agree with you that the minute there are victims, right? I'm thinking about the Kanye segment we did earlier in the show. I know Kanye has psychiatric history, but he's also got a lot of followers and he makes a lot of money off of that, and other people make money off of it. And it's the same thing here, right? The minute it starts impacting other people, I think it's in part about like you getting your own help, but it's also like, let's see who else is being hurt by you, and then take actions accordingly.
Yeah, listen, we have classified alcoholism as a mental health disorder, but if you drink, you get into a wreck, you hurt or kill somebody, you will have a criminal penalty, even though you are likely engaging in a mental health issue that created a victim. Because of that, there's a criminal penalty.